Who are you really? Right, that's the question you need to ask yourself. Okay, so we change also over the course of our life. I'm going to give you a little sheet here. So what I'd like you to do is think about the identities, the people you were between birth to now. Okay, you just need one. All right, there we go. So in the middle of that sheet there, in the middle of the sheet there, you've got a timeline, all right, and it says 0 to now, and it's split into 4. So whatever your age is, so say you're, I don't know, 28, divide that by 4. So the first line is the age 7, right? Then age 14, then age 21, and then age 28. Okay. And at the top, I want you to write down who were you at that age. When you were 7, who were you? What did people tell you were? You know, what was your personality? What were you doing? All right. So all the positives, all the great things that people said you were, who were you at those different ages? Okay. And then below, so I'll give you about a few minutes to do this. And then below, same age, but how was that seen differently, negatively, all right, or not so positive, so, or unhelpful labels. So maybe somebody said you were this, what does that actually mean to you? Right, so I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. Really gives this some thought. And the box at the end, that's like you moving forward, so any positive roles that you want to have, be identities you want to take on. Okay? Alright, so I mean different identities, we take on different roles, right? We believe different things about ourselves. Sometimes it can really disable us and it can keep us stuck. Right? We might want that great job, that great role, right? But we think, oh, I don't know, will I get it? Will I be good enough? No, I don't think I'm cut out for this. We talk ourselves down the whole time. Alright? So how can we get that job then? Who do we need to become? What do we need to do inside of us? We can't be it, we can't get it in that current negative state, right? Or that limiting state. So we have to be able to think outside, we have to think differently about ourselves. And this has come from the NLP communication model. What happens in life, right? External events happen. Things happen all the time. There's things happening right now. But we're all going to have a different take on it. We take in billions of bits of information all the time through our senses, right? So we see, hear, touch, smell, and taste. Right? So you can have some of the snacks out there, and somebody will think, oh, well, this is way too sweet for me, and someone will think, oh, it's actually delicious. All right? And we see things differently. So the same situation, I mean, this is why they have, you know, when there's a crime and people come in, the witnesses, they'll have a different story. The same thing, but they'll have a different outlook to it, a different perception. So the thing that happened was the thing, right? The event is the event. But it's how we process it. So all that information that comes in, we cannot deal with all of it, right? We just deal with what is important to us right now, what is relevant. So you can remember things like your phone number and, you know, where your door number and things, because that's like relevant to you. But you're not necessarily going to, unless I ask you, remember the name of your best friend at school. Right, now it's somewhere in your memory. You didn't need it 2 seconds ago, but I've asked you for it, so now it's popped up. But the information that comes in, we delete a lot of it. Right, it's not relevant to us. We don't need it right now in this moment. We delete a lot of it. So you're driving, right? You're driving somewhere. You know the route, right? So we're deleting a lot of the stuff that's going on because we're automatically just doing what we need to do. We don't need to remember how to change gears or anything. We distort as well. So we kind of make up stories in our head. We imagine things are happening. So you could be at home and there's like a noise going on and you think, oh my God, somebody's downstairs, somebody's like, what is it? So we imagine the worst, right? And it's nothing. It's, it's not. So we're distorting it, and it creates a feeling inside of us. And we also generalize. We do this a lot. So it's like, if you've had a bad breakup, and you're like, oh, will I ever meet anyone again? All men are whatever. All girls are like, high maintenance work. So we kind of create this generalization, and it's a survival mechanism, right? But we do it. And it's all based on these things. So the attitudes that we've created over time, the decisions that we've made, the beliefs that we hold, our values. So what is important to us? Right? We make decisions based on our values and our memories, things that already happened to us, and maybe something bad happened, and we now are seeing the world through those eyes. And the language that we use, language is so critical. If you tell yourself, do you know what, I'm always running late, I'm never on time. Do you think you're going to be on time? Right? So we say things about ourselves, and then we self-actualize, we actually make it true. So if we change our language, a lot of the time, if somebody asks you, how are you, how was your day? Right? How was your day? Good, right? Okay, how was your day? Right, okay. First of all, like this, right? Felt, okay. But when we communicate, we are gifting something to the other person. We actually are, in our communication, how we respond back. So if you meet somebody and say, how's your day? Say, you know what, my day was awesome. It's been awesome. And then you're like, what did you do? Like, whatever your day was like, I want a bit of that, right? Versus someone saying, oh God, you know what, I was late, and the bus was on time, and it's like, oh, thanks a lot for that, I wish I hadn't asked, right? So our language is so crucial, and it actually affects us. Yes, you're given a gift, a bad gift maybe, or a good gift, but however you communicate, be very responsible in how we communicate with other people, because they take on what you just said and your energy, and they actually form an idea about that person. You might think, it was negative, or this is a really good vibey person to be around. Yes, we go through different emotions all the time, but just be very aware of the language that we use about ourselves.
But people generally ask how you doing as an automatic thing to say. Probably not needing to ask.
Yeah.
And you're kind of hoping that the response is, oh, I'm having the worst day, because then you kind of have to care. But if I tell you it was an awesome day, that's okay, cheers, perfect, and you can move on. But if it's a bad day, you're kind of, obliged to kind of say, tell me more.
Yeah.
If you care.
If you care.
Yeah,
right.
You should, but it's an automatic response. And most of the people won't say, I'm happy. Most people won't say that.
You're right, because we have expectations of other people on us, and we don't want to let them know that we're having a crap day, right? Or something went really well because maybe their day didn't go so well, right? So it's gauging the situation, all right? But it's also it's how it's making you feel, right? So it's a language that we use. So maybe it hasn't been a great day, and isn't that better to say, you know what, it hasn't been such a great day, rather than it's been a crap day, bad day, right? So it's saying the same thing, but you've changed your language. You're saying it hasn't been a great day. What I'm hearing is great. I'm not hearing not great. I'm hearing it's not been a great day. So I'm still like, okay, this person hasn't had a great day, versus it's been a really bad day, been really miserable. I'm kind of feeling something else when I'm hearing that.
But am I having a responsibility to you, or should I have a responsibility towards me when I communicate? Of course, I would guess it depends on the context, right? At work or with friends. But should I be responsible to you, to the receptor?
It'd be nice to be.
I mean, of course. We need to be empathetic as well, of course. But if I'm having a bad day, probably I'm not even thinking about being empathetic because I am having it.
And that's completely fine. We need to validate our emotions, right? We can't be positive, happy, clappy all the time, right? That's why we have a range of emotions. That's why we have sadness. And that's why we have anxiety and depression, and we have like all of these different layers of emotions that they are valid, right? And if somebody does say, you know, I'm having the worst day, right? And obviously it's at the mercy of the other person to say, oh, what happened? Right? And I talk about it. Do you want to talk about it? Right? You might just want to just explode and just let it out. And there's different ways of doing that. So we can do it through talking, we can do it through moving our body. We'll talk about, you know, different space is a great thing. Go for a walk, right? There's lots of different strategies that we can use and employ to change our state. So it's called state. So we'll come on to that. So all of these different things that go on in our head, right? So the events happen, this stuff goes on in our head. And we create a picture around that. It's an internal representation. So we create a picture, maybe from a memory, but we all think in pictures. And that affects our state, right? How we feel. So it affects what we've just seen, or felt, or heard, and the memories we've had, and the values we have, but we feel a certain way around that. And then that affects our body, our physiology. And then we behave in a certain way. So it's all very closely linked, and it happens in like a split second. You wouldn't even know that it's happening. So, so something great can happen, right? So somebody's having a birthday party, and you remember when you were younger, and it was like the amazing parties that you had. Don't you feel good? Don't you feel excited because you have a memory of that and you feel like really good? And look at your body when you're feeling like, oh, happy, right? So if you do this right now, if you think of a time that you were really happy, right? Somebody's wedding, your wedding, falling in love, right? So you see smiles on faces, right? And your body, your breathing changes, okay? Your whole physiology changes when you feel great. And if you think of a time that it's just horrible, you just want to cry, what happens to your body then? Right? You remember it, and in a split second, your body goes into that state, right? That physiology. And sometimes we can look at people and we can think, right? So if I'm standing like this, right, you might be thinking, she's a bit kind of, what are you going to think? I don't know, you tell me. I'm standing like this. What do you think I'm thinking? What do you think? If I'm standing like this right now, okay, what else?
You're waiting for a response.
Okay, so closed off, waiting for a response, maybe it could be anything, right? You make up in your head, based on your filters, what this means, right? I mean, a lot of people think that, you know, if somebody's standing with their arms crossed, that they're quite closed, resistant, right? It might just be comfortable for them to have their arms crossed, okay? It just might be, it's not, but what do? We put on a characteristic based on what was going on in our head, right? We have to ask them. We only know when we ask. So our physiology, all of these things are interrelated, and it links to our behaviour, right? So how we are. So if you're going into an interview situation and you are nervous, right? Maybe sweaty palms, you're feeling like, and you might talk really, really quickly, or you might just go, oh, you know, I've forgotten. Like, I mean, oh, we should have said that, or, you know, we can change that. Would you like to know how to change your behaviour? Would that be helpful if you're going into a situation, dating situation, you're feeling nervous, you have to present, right? You've all got to do presentations, right? Yeah? How do you feel? Who loves presenting? A couple of you love presenting?
I like it. I love it.
And who's like, do you know what? I know I have to do it. Yeah, there we go. All right? So how can we change how we feel about having to do something? Well, good news is we can change what's going on here. Right? We can't change the external event, but we can change how we think about it. Okay? And then that will affect how we feel, and then what our body feels like, looks like, and the behaviour that we have. So we need to go into the brain. You don't have one brain, you have 3 brains. Okay, so this comes from neuroscience. So we have the neocortex, the frontal part of our brain, which is engaged all the time. You're at business school, this is switched on. You are thinking, you're learning, you're listening out for stuff. It is wired, it's like a high beta state, high energized state. This is our decision making and our thinking control center. It's where we learn. And when we're learning, whatever course you're doing right now, have you learned something which is like completely alien to you and like, I'm struggling with accounts, or I can't do marketing, or whatever? Is there something that you're learning and it's like, this is new? Right? Yes? Right? Because if you've already learned it, there's no challenge there, right? So we're here, we're learning. And when we're learning, you might, you go off and you chat to somebody, you go, I didn't get that, can you explain it, right? When we're confused, it's a good sign. When I was teaching maths, kids are confused, they don't know how to do it, whatever it was. It's actually a good sign because it's not a memory they have right now. They're learning it. It's new. The brain creates like new connections all the time when we're learning. And when we keep on practicing, it creates a stronger connection until it becomes something that we don't need to think about anymore. All right, so when we're learning, we're thinking, that's all going on at the front part of our brain. Okay, so learning and getting information is fine. But nothing's going to change until we feel differently about what we've learned and what we can do about it. So the second brain is our limbic brain. That's the seat of our emotions, of our experiences and our feelings. So this is when, if you do nothing, you're going to feel bored, right? You're just like, nothing's going on in my life. Why isn't anything changing? You want things to change outside to change you. You have to have new experiences. Experiences are what creates desire and excitement, right? And passion and energy, right? You want to do new things, right? You're in London, wow, amazing place to be, right? You want to have new experiences, yes, so that you can tweet them, stick on Instagram, right? But it's like we need to have emotions, right? And experiences. And when we have those feelings change us. They change us. We create a new memory now, and it changes how we feel about something. And we're going to work on that in a second. And then finally we've got the reptilian, the oldest part of our brain, and this is where our instincts and our urges lie. So this is our fight or flight or freeze or fawn. Okay, so you know what fight or flight is, right? Freeze, maybe do nothing. It's like, something done. Moments of stress, you do nothing. And fawn is like you just like pander to somebody else, like, yeah, okay, I agree, I get it. You don't want to take any responsibility, you just want to go on with whatever anybody else is saying. So you have to think, think about what is your response in a stress situation. Do you fight? Do you run away? Do you freeze? You go, oh, I don't know, don't talk about it. What do you want to do right now? Or do you go, you know what, yeah, whatever. Whatever you guys go, I'm in, whatever you guys. So think about your stress response. We're going to do an exercise on changing how you feel. Who would like to change how they feel at any particular moment in time? Up for it? Yeah. Okay. All right, so you can do this. This comes from Tony Robbins. So try it. And it says if you change any one of these things, all of them together is where change happens. So our focus, what we're thinking, our physiology, what we're doing with our body, and our language, what we're telling ourselves, what we're telling others. We change any of those, all of those three things together, we're going to get a change in our feeling center, right? How we feel. Now you can do this, take 10 minutes a day, longer, whatever. We're going to do this in 4 minutes. Right? Quick little exercise in 4 minutes. And I'm going to put on some music and I'm going to talk you through what we're going to do. So, the first thing is, having some good music. Doesn't good music change how you feel?
Yeah.
Yes. Who listens to music? Everyone. Does it make you feel good? Yeah. Right? Does it change your state? Perfect. Put on some good music first.
But funny.
No. So, music playing. Silence is also good. out the external senses. Take a few nice deep breaths. So when we change our breathing, straight away we're changing our physiology. Just nice deep breaths in and out. Just relax your shoulders. Sit back and really sit. Nice and calm. Now I want you to think of 3 things you're grateful for. 3 things you're grateful for. What are you grateful for? When you're in a state of gratitude, you can't be fearful. You can't be angry. Now think of 3 people in your life who you love. People in your life who are grateful that you're in their life. Somebody you love. Think about how they make you feel. See their faces. See them near you. Send a prayer to them. What a gift they are in your life. Three people. Now, three things you're going to focus on. What are the things you want to focus on that you want to achieve, accomplish, finish, start to do? So you want to just get done today. At the end of the week, at the end of the month, this year. Focus on those 3 things. Just enjoy being in that